Welcome to the Spotlight Omaha podcast. Here is your host, Jimmy Allen.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome inside the Spotlight Omaha podcast, where we take you around the city of Omaha, introduce you to local business owners, influential figures, and people who are making an impact on our community. We are brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing. Pixel Fire Marketing is a locally owned marketing firm who specializes in website design, creating social media ads, and engaging your business online. If your business could benefit from any of that, check out pixelfiremarketing.com today. Joining me inside the Pyramid Contractor studio is Joan Tunnard with Nebraska Pet Hospice. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about what Nebraska Pet Hospice is and how you guys are helping people and their pets.
So we are an end-of-life care veterinary service for pets here in the Omaha and Lincoln area. We mostly do in-home euthanasia and also do some consultations for people who are struggling with very difficult decisions towards the end of their pet's life.
It's such a little I don't know if it's a fun story about me. I was 16. I was working at a local grocery store, and I was looking to make some extra money. And our security guard was a dog catcher, and he said, "Hey, I don't know if you're looking to make some extra money, but they're looking for somebody to work with euthanized animals at the Humane Society." I didn't know what euthanized meant, so I said, "Sure, that's for me." It wasn't for me. Obviously, it's a very tough job, and saying goodbye to a loved one, and especially a four-legged one, is always tough. Why was this the right calling for you?
Starting out in practice, this is always something that I felt comfortable doing.
Sure.
Just providing a comforting presence for people who are, at a very emotional point, and it's a hard choice to make, to say goodbye to your pet, and just being there for people. And so it is kind of a calling. I get a lot of comments, and a lot of clients are actually people who do human hospice,
Sure.
and for them it's a calling as well. And so just being able to be there for people and let them know that this choice is okay, and to make it the best experience it can be.
When we talk about the business side of things, I don't think a lot of people look at end of life as a business opportunity, right? But it's something that there is a need for.
Sure.
Father Time's undefeated for a reason. When we talk about the veterinarian side of things, what are some of the questions or concerns people have about it being the right time?
Lots and lots of questions. There are, what we end up seeing a lot of times is, the primary caregiver, the person who helps the pet every day, they'll know that things are changing, but they're seeing the pet every day, so they don't see the obvious changes that somebody maybe coming in once a week will see. So pets that are struggling with mobility is one thing that we see very commonly.
Is it fair to say that that's the most common?
I would say it's the most common. So pets that just can't get up and move like they used to.
So I don't know if I shared this story with you. So we have a special needs yellow lab, and he was a part of the 11th breed between his parents. We didn't know.
Gosh. Yeah.
Exactly. And we didn't know about his ailments when we first got him. He's got cataracts really bad. He's got about 10% vision. His front paws are short, or his front legs are shorter than his back legs, so he's got dwarfism. He's got facial dysplasia, which is why he has the cataracts. But it's hard for, this is a conversation we've had to have, because he wasn't supposed to live past 6 months.
Sure.
He's going to be 5.
Oh, wow.
So
yeah.
And it's a conversation that we've kind of talked about, because we know we're going to have. And when you have an animal that isn't fully healthy at birth, how many animals are you seeing like that lasting kind of a long time? And then does that make the conversation easier or harder in your opinion?
Well, that's very owner dependent. So a lot of those, obviously you guys are very dedicated.
It's going to be
owners.
tough. Yeah. I'm not looking forward to it.
So there are a lot of, animals that just don't make it to that point, because they don't have that. However, there are a lot of people who put so much time and effort into keeping their pet as healthy and happy as they can be.
He's got a whole pharmacy just to himself. So
sure. So we do see more and more of that as people, are willing to put the time and it does cost money. So, everything into their pet.
It does. You guys have an online pharmacy available on your website. Where did that come about, and why does that kind of help?
That is when I do quality of life consultations, not every one of those are going to end in a euthanasia, which is just fine. There's not always there are oftentimes more things that we can do. And so it's to help make it easier for me to prescribe palliative care. So it's mostly pain medication.
And I just want to throw this out there in case there's anybody like 16-year-old me that doesn't know. That means putting an animal to sleep.
Correct. Sorry.
No, you're good. I just want to throw that out there because
Yeah.
I was dumb when I was younger. And there's some possibility somebody else that might not be caught up on the hip lingo either. But yeah, when we talk, sorry, go ahead about the pharmacy.
Oh yeah. So that just helps it be easier for me to prescribe medication, and it's mostly pain medication, things to make the pet more comfortable.
How long have you been a veterinarian?
I think it's 16 years now.
Wow.
So yeah.
Does it feel real?
No, not really.
Yeah. What is the most difficult animal that you've ever had to work with, and why?
In general?
Yeah, just in general. Doesn't have to be with euthanization.
Oh.
Is there a weird one?
You mean like species?
Sure.
Or
Yeah.
I mostly do dogs.
Other than humans. Yeah, sorry.
I know, yeah. I mostly work with dogs and cats.
Sure.
And so I have not done a lot of exotics or small mammals, but I have helped some small mammals, mostly rabbits.
When we talk, like, obviously with the agriculture in the state of Nebraska, farm life and animal life is a big part of what the state does. What has the feedback kind of been like? Because we're going to talk about growth here in a minute, but from the Omaha, Lincoln, surrounding areas kind of been like, because animals kind of have a special place in the state.
Sure. So, there are a lot of people that just care a lot about their pets.
Sure.
And this, the field of hospice and palliative care within veterinary medicine has grown a lot. And so a lot of people still don't know that we exist. And so, just getting the word out that this is an option, and, you don't just have to
do it alone.
Yeah, exactly. There is help available.
When somebody's contacting you for the first time, and again, the website's scrolling across the bottom of the screen right now, Nebraska. Excuse me, sorry. Just want to make sure I get this right. NebraskaPetHospice.com.
Yes.
Scrolling across the bottom of your screen, make sure you can click on it and take you there. When somebody's contacting you for the first time, and what does that process look like? What do the next steps look like?
So I actually have a call center, so I have some people who answer the phone for me.
Sure.
And that's a call center who specializes in businesses like mine. So it's staffed by veterinary technicians or licensed social workers. And so they're people who understand the emotion that happens when people make this call.
Yeah.
And so they're able to help guide people through the process. And, in number one, in making the decision if they want to schedule or not, or if they want to schedule a consultation with me. So then basically you call, or I do have a form on the website, and then you sometimes you have to leave a message, but you get a call back, and the service is great about asking all the important questions and making sure that you're comfortable with your decision.
Obviously, it's more often than times not a great conversation or a great decision to be made. How much of your conversations sometimes turn out positive? Is that something that happens pretty often?
Yeah,
Sure.
It definitely can happen. And, it's something where, if you're scheduled and your pet takes a turn for the better, that's okay.
That's
that's
the
fine.
ultimate goal, right?
That's great. That's what we want.
You obviously do work in Nebraska and Omaha, but you do some work in Iowa as well.
Mm-hmm.
What is the biggest difference, I guess, from a legal standpoint as far as Iowa and Nebraska? Is it pretty same?
Just to be licensed in Iowa. It's,
Sure.
Yeah, not a big difference.
What has the response been any different from the Council Bluffs side of the river versus the Omaha side of the river at all?
Not really. I mean,
if you need the service, you need the service. Sure.
Yeah, everybody loves their pets.
Yeah, absolutely.
Either way.
What is there anything that you guys do that people would be surprised to know about, or a service you provide that maybe from the 100-foot view doesn't look like it's there, but probably from the 10,000 foot view
Well,
does?
I mean, we do work with Eco-Animal Cremation is the crematory we work with.
And
so
what do they do?
So they provide cremation services. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Why is it's eco-friendly, I'm assuming, in some way?
So they actually do, it's called aquamation.
So
it's a little bit different than flame cremation.
Yeah.
And it's really great.
Seems a little more humane too.
Yeah. And so anyways, we will transport your pet to the crematory, so people don't have to worry about taking care of their pet after they've passed.
We're catching up with Joan Tunnard of the Nebraska Pet Hospice here on the Spotlight Omaha podcast, brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing inside the Pyramid Contractors Studio. You guys are looking at growth. What does growth look like over the next 2 to 3 years?
So we have Dr. Jacqueline is working today, which is why I could be here.
Thanks, Dr. Jacqueline.
Yeah, and then we have another doctor who's going to be starting in Lincoln, I think in January.
Okay.
And so we're expanding, hopefully soon, so that we can have more availability to help people.
Are you surprised with the growth?
It's
Because when you said
it
that,
has
kinda,
been surprising.
Sure.
Yeah. So, I haven't had to advertise. People, there are veterinarians who want to do this work, which is great. And so we're expanding that way. I think down the road, growth for us means more availability. So more times that we can help people, number one. And then also,
which is the ultimate goal, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And then also, eventually we want to expand into more hospice care availability. And so, yes, we do euthanasia, but we also want to be able to help the pets just be more comfortable and have more quality time.
I guess in my mind, the thought process automatically would go to kind of what the humane societies around Omaha do. Is that something you guys would ever entertain or want to be a part of, and maybe kind of take in some animals that aren't necessarily in the best of health and maybe help with that process? Or is that something that's just completely right versus left?
So, as far as
like providing a home, I guess.
Oh, yeah. So, we're not a rescue.
Yeah,
so
sure.
there are a lot of,
I guess that's what I was looking for.
So there are a lot of really great rescues
Absolutely.
around here, and they're wonderful. And so, down the road, if we can help some of those rescues with our services, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
And so that's certainly room for growth there. But as far as providing those rescue services, that's not really in the plan right at the moment.
You talked about hiring and adding on a minute ago, and I want to talk about that because that's a lot of what we talk about in this room, because for a lot of people, it's a big fear.
Sure.
Handing off, the thing that you put your name on, something you've built from the ground up.
Sure.
How difficult was that for you, especially in this unique of a business?
The people I have hired and are in the process of hiring want to do this.
Yeah.
And so it has not been a big challenge in that respect.
Sure.
I think if I had put out an ad and had people come in, or also, that they have experience within
Need to in this line of
in
work,
practicing. Yeah. And so for what we do, knowing how to talk to people, knowing how to,
because that's not always the case.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's something where, I would not hire a new grad.
Well, I can't help but notice when you talk about the people that you're working with, you're lighting up. There's a smile on your face. Is that because you're getting a little bit of a break as well?
Oh, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. It says in your bio here, you're a mom of 3, you're a wife, you're obviously a veterinarian, and you deal with some pretty tough times. Is it difficult for you at times to put the phone down, walk away, be mom, be wife, and not have to worry about the business side of things?
Yeah, it is. I'm so thankful for my call center. It's called the DVM Center, and they do amazing work, and they take such a load off my plate, so that I'm able to focus on, those other important parts of my life.
How did the call center portion come about? How did you get hooked up with that?
When before we moved back to Nebraska, I worked for a company that used this call center. Yeah, and it was really great.
I think a lot of people, when they get into business or they open up a company for the first time, or they're thinking about entrepreneurship, how do I do all of this by myself, right? And we've had such a great conversation with people that are opening franchises or get a career coach or things like that. What are some of, maybe it's as simple as the call center. Is there anything when you started this business that you were like, how am I going to be able to do this? But there's been an answer or maybe a simple solution to it.
There's always somebody that can do something.
Sure.
And
if you need something done, ask somebody who's busy. They'll figure it out.
I thought that I could figure out how to do Google ads, and I couldn't. So thankfully Pixelfire helped me a lot with that.
Thanks for that free plug, by the way.
Yeah, I know, exactly. So there have been a lot of things that, like, okay, well, I can handle this one thing. Well, actually, it's
do you have the time?
Way easier. No, and that's, my biggest resource is my time.
Sure.
And
it's everybody's, by the way.
Yeah, it's worth it for me to hand that off to somebody who knows what they're doing.
How long have you guys been in business?
We started June of last year.
Okay. What's something that you know today about this business that you didn't know June of last year?
Well,
is it that much or is that little?
No, okay. It's not, it just always, it never ceases to surprise me how much people just really love their pets.
Yeah, sure.
They really do. And it's so wonderful to get feedback from people. And now I'm starting to get feedback from Dr. Jacqueline, on how wonderful of a job she's doing and how much people really appreciate her service as well.
You guys are you're from Columbus originally. You guys take a little sabbatical and go to Las Vegas for a couple of years. You come back to Nebraska. What is it about Nebraska that drew you guys back, and why is it the right place to do business?
So for me, it was about family.
Okay.
Our kids are little and they're starting school, and so it was the right time.
Really love snow. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not really, but that's okay.
Nobody does.
No, but it's a good time to come. It was a good time for us as a family to come back.
We've had this conversation. Some people have agreed, some people have disagreed. Especially in the Omaha area, it kind of feels like you have to earn it here. If you're from here, people seem like they're more likely to do business with you, but they kind of want you to earn their respect and earn their business. Have you seen that in the same volition in your line of work?
Maybe.
Sure.
Maybe.
Yeah. It seems to be hit or miss.
I put it, but for my business, I put in a lot of legwork and going around and just letting people know that I exist and that I'm here. And, we've got wonderful reviews from so many people. So, people see that we care. And
What's the biggest hurdle facing your business today, in your opinion?
I think it's really just knowledge
Awareness?
that we exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if what's the best part about what you do?
Just helping people. You'd be surprised how many people, obviously people are sad, but you'd be surprised how many people are just thankful and happy to see you because you're just taking a weight off their shoulders.
It's weird to word it like this, but we hear so many complaints about customer service and it going away. Is that what kind of separates what you guys do? Is that factor of we care, we're here, we want to make sure that you're getting what you need out of this experience while you're saying goodbye?
Yeah. Yeah. And, I don't want to take anything away from brick and mortar building, veterinary clinics. It's just a different setting and they do the best they can, but it's just not the same. There are so many animals that either can't get up and you can't get them to the clinic or get so stressed out.
By car rides and things like that.
Yeah. And even if they do get in the car, it's still somewhat impersonal.
The thought process of that last drive too.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Walk me through what the process. They go to your website. They decide that they have the consultation with you. What does the process look like after they decide? Okay, this is the conversation we need to have, and maybe it is time.
Yeah. So they can either call. A lot of times you have to leave a message, or they can fill out the form.
You're busy
on the website. But then my call center will get back, and basically they can go through a lot of these questions with you and help you decide if it's the right time or if you want to schedule a consultation with me, then I can go through those questions with you and offer some more solutions or more options.
How, if we're talking percentage wise, how much of your business would you say is what we just talked about versus the pharmacy and helping current pets get healthier and get along?
The vast majority is in home euthanasia.
Yeah. But I mean, as long as there's a percentage out there where you're helping, I mean,
sure.
That's obviously a positive spin on things.
It's been surprising to me how many consultations I've had, like a good surprise.
Is there anything that you feel like the pet community could be doing better in the state of Nebraska or providing for those rescues we talked about, or is there anything that you know of that maybe it could benefit just pets in the Omaha area in general?
Basic awareness of pain
is
the biggest thing that I see is people aren't aware that their pets are in pain.
The most common response to that question, by the way, is just education.
Yeah. And so, that's one thing that hopefully we can help bring more awareness to that. So, it's not just old age, it's that they are actually hurting. And there are things that we can do to help.
It's so difficult because they can't tell us, right?
Sure.
And that's got to be the worst part. Because not to continue to make this about me, but our yellow lab, he's also got glaucoma now too. And yeah. So he's on pain meds, and he's happy, and he's running around. He doesn't have problems getting around, and those are signs that we've been looking for. So that has been great. But we're catching up with Joan Tunnard of the Nebraska Pet Hospice Clinic here on the Spotlight Omaha podcast, brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing. Inside the Pyramid Contractors, we kind of alluded to it already. It's in your bio. You're a mom of triplets. How much do the kids know about what mom does?
They actually know quite a bit. So they, we've had, we're on, we're currently at 2 dogs and a cat.
Sure.
And, they've been there for,
What are the dogs' names?
we have Rex, short for Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Sure, of course it is.
Yeah, and we have a golden retriever named Beignet. So,
Okay. I just want to make sure. And the cat's name is?
her name is Cookie.
Okay, we want to make sure they all get their love too.
Yes,
Sorry.
I know. Yeah, and anyways,
what kind of dog is Rex?
he's a German short hair.
Okay, because we have a yellow lab and then we have a golden retriever also.
Oh, funny. Yeah,
That's why I asked.
Yeah. So they've been there. We put 2 cats to sleep at home, and so they've been there and experienced it, and they ask me questions, and they are aware of what I do.
Sure.
And I think that that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
I don't want them to go through life thinking that everybody lives forever.
Hey, time's hard.
And, yeah. And so it's death is a part of life, and it's good for them to be aware of it.
When we talk about 5-10 years down the road, where do you want to see this grow to and why?
Well, I would like to. I'm super happy we have 2 doctors besides me on board, and hopefully we can get another doctor or 2 to help. Just that'll give more availability and, help us be ready to help more people. And then also, like I said, if we can be able to do more hospice and palliative care in the home, possibly thinking about, providing acupuncture or other services in the home that can help with that pain management. That'd be great.
I just got dry needled for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
2 weeks ago. Changed my life.
Yeah.
By the way. Highly recommend it.
Yeah.
We talked about it a little bit, but obviously the agriculture portion of Nebraska, has there been thought about horse care or anything like that?
I don't do horse care. It's just a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, for sure.
Than small animals.
Yeah.
And so currently there's no plans to include that. But if there was another doctor who
would be interested.
Yeah. Certainly that's a possibility.
NebraskaPetHospice.com.
Yeah.
When we talk about the growth, obviously you've mentioned Lincoln a couple of times. How much different is it doing business in Omaha versus doing business in Lincoln, or is it just?
Well, so as of right now, the main difference is that it just costs a little bit more for
the
us,
drive and stuff.
Yeah, for us to go to Lincoln. We do charge a small travel fee. And so starting in January, we won't be charging that because we'll have a doctor based in Lincoln, which is great.
You mentioned that and this isn't a shameless plug, I promise. You mentioned the Pixel Fire portion of it and helping brand awareness. A lot of what we talk about in this room is marketing and advertising and things like that. What was it about the business and the way it was heading that you felt like you needed to do marketing, and how did it kind of change after you got the opportunity to do that?
So, just starting out, I knew I needed to do a lot to
let people know you're there.
To have awareness. And so I spent a lot of time taking brochures to clinics and grooming parlors and boarding facilities.
What was the response from that?
Great.
Yeah,
it was wonderful. People are excited to know that we exist.
From the clients, like the buildings themselves, they were okay and perfectly fine with it. Great. Okay.
Yeah.
It's so weird because I think, and not that a grooming salon obviously wouldn't be looked as competition for you, but it's been really incredible to me to hear stories about competitors and how certain businesses help each other, where on paper it would look like, shouldn't you guys be kind of fighting over the same? And it feels like there's just kind of enough for everybody that there isn't that kind of standpoint. If somebody is looking at becoming a veterinarian, or maybe even is a veterinarian, they don't love what they do and is thinking about getting into the euthanasia, what piece of advice would you give to that person?
Reach out to people like me because, that's something that, I'm happy to talk about it. If you're a veterinarian and you want to see what actually happens during an appointment in the home, it is a little bit different than in the clinic. I'm happy to go through that. And you can see if that's something that you would feel comfortable with. I think ultimately most veterinarians know if they're comfortable with this or if this is kind of the line.
There's not usually a gray area.
Yeah, exactly. But, I love what I do, and I would love to help people do it if they're interested.
So can you get it? So is it just the website, or is there a phone number people can call to get
Yeah, the phone number is 531-249-0015.
We're kind of hitting that point in the show where we tend to shut it down for the day. Is there anything about Nebraska Pet Hospice we haven't mentioned that people should know?
We're here. We're ready to help. If you need us, we don't want to. We want you to be ready. but we're here when you need us.
74 5-star Google reviews on Google. Check it out. Again, the phone number is 531-249-0015. You can check out the website scrolling across the bottom of our screen, NebraskaPetHospice.com. And I have no idea why that's so hard for me to say today. You can find all of Joan's wonderful services that she offers there and get some answers there. Thank you so much for doing this today.
Thank
I greatly
you for having
appreciate
me.
it. We'll be back tomorrow here at 11 a.m. I know we went a little bit early today, but we'll be back on time tomorrow at 11 a.m. Talking to a unique business here in Omaha that's blurring some lines and answering some questions as far as some laws are concerned. Hopefully you can check it out tomorrow at 11 a.m. on the Spotlight Omaha podcast, brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing inside the Pyramid Contractor Studio.